Lily walked down the pale corridor of the orphanage on Arcturus Vi. The walls glowed faint green under soft lights. She carried a small tray of breakfast for the children. Her steps were quiet, but her heart felt heavy. She had heard rumors of a new arrival in the night. Some said the boy was small and weak. Others whispered that his skin looked rough and uneven. Many called him ugly. Lily had worked in many orphanages on different worlds. She had met children of all shapes and colors. She had seen laughter and tears in equal measure. But the thought of a child hidden away by fear made her blood run cold. She wanted to help. She needed to see for herself. She reached the first dorm. The thin metal doors stood open for morning cleanup. Rows of beds lined the room. Each bed had a small crate below it for the child's few belongings. Lily set down the tray and glanced at the children. Most sat up and smiled. Some rubbed sleep from their eyes. She greeted each one gently, offering a plate of fruit and a warm drink. She spoke softly, asking about dreams from the night. The children shared stories of games and the floating gardens outside. Laughter filled the room like soft rain. From the next dorm came a faint sound. It was more like a whimper than a child's cry. Lily paused and listened. The sound came from the corner near a stack of old blankets. She set the tray aside and knelt on the cool floor. Her uniform made a quiet rustle as she moved. She reached past the blankets and called out in a gentle voice, "Don't be afraid, it's okay. I am here to help." For a moment there was silence. Then a small shape moved. A pair of wide eyes peeked out. The eyes were mismatched in color. One was pale blue, the other a deep amber. The skin around the eyes was rough, like cracked stone. The boy's hands gripped the blanket with long fingers. His body shrank away as if he wanted to vanish completely. Lily drew back slightly and let her hands rest on her knees. She gave him space. She did not rush. She waited. After a long moment, the boy's head came out more. He looked at her with fear and curiosity. His name was Dax, she learned later. For now, she whispered, "My name is Lily. I am a friend. I will not hurt you." His breathing was quick. His eyes darted to the door and back. He seemed ready to run. Lily's voice stayed calm. She took a small step forward. She held out her hand, palm open. No need to hide. "You can trust me." For a heartbeat, it felt like time stopped. Dax's chest rose and fell with the light of hope. Then he reached out. His hand touched hers. His skin felt rough and warm. Lily did not flinch. She smiled and guided his hand into her palm. Slowly, Dax pulled himself out from the blankets. He was small and thin. His head was too large for his body. Small ridges ran along his scalp where hair might grow. He wore a tattered shirt and pants that hung loose on his frame. His bare feet stepped onto the cold floor without sound. Lily rose to her feet and offered her other hand. She did not rush him. She spoke softly. "Would you like some breakfast?" He nodded slowly. His eyes shone with a glimmer of hope. Lily led him back to the tray she had left. She set a plate of sliced fruit and warm pudding in front of him. She sat on a low stool nearby and watched him. At first, Dax did not taste the food. He stared at the fruit's bright colors and the steam rising from the pudding. His eyes flicked to Lily, then back to the food. She said nothing. She only sat and waited. After a long pause, Dax picked up a piece of fruit. He bit into it. The sweet taste made his eyes widen. He took another bite. His shoulders relaxed. He searched for more pieces with careful fingers. Lily nodded and smiled. She felt relief flood her chest. He was safe for now. As he ate, Lily spoke softly about the day ahead. There would be classes on communication, art, and play. There would be other children. Some might stare at Dax's rough skin and mismatched eyes. She warned him never to be ashamed of who he was. She told him that every child had a place in this world. He swallowed and looked at her. His mouth opened and closed as if he wanted to speak. After a moment, he found his voice. "I never had a home before." Lily's eyes grew warm. She leaned forward. "You have a place here. I will help you find your home." He nodded again. They ate in quiet comfort. The morning sun streamed through high windows. Dust motes danced in the golden light. The orphanage felt kind and warm. Later, Lily walked Dax to a small play area. She introduced him to a few children who built towers with colored blocks. One child paused and studied Dax. Then he smiled and held out a blue block. "Want to help?" Dax hesitated. He looked at the block, then at Lily. She gave him an encouraging nod. He placed the block on the tower. The structure wobbled but did not fall. The children cheered. Dax smiled, a small but real curve of his lips. Lily stayed nearby. She watched Dax reach out to touch the blocks and talk to other children. She felt hope bloom. She knew the first step was the hardest. Dax had taken it. He had stepped into the light. When playtime ended, Lily took Dax back to the common room. She helped him wash his hands. She handed him a soft towel. She stroked his hair in places where skin was smooth. Dax closed his eyes for a moment. He felt safe. Lily stayed with Dax until the other children moved to their classes. Then she guided him to a quiet corner. She knelt and met his eyes. "I will learn all I can about your kind. Soon I will know your story. You will not be alone." Dax reached out and touched her cheek. His fingers left a faint trace of roughness. He nodded, and for the first time he spoke his name. "I am Dax." Lily smiled. "Welcome, Dax. You are not alone anymore." Lily woke early next morning. Sunlight filtered through her window. She reached for a mug of tea and looked at the small drawing Dax had left on her desk. It showed two figures holding hands under stars. She smiled softly and thought of how brave Dax had been yesterday. After breakfast, Lily dressed in her work uniform and walked to the orphanage. Dax waited in the common room. He held a small sketchbook and colored pencils. His eyes brightened when he saw Lily. "Hi, Lily," he said quietly. Lily knelt and smiled. "Good morning, Dax. Did you draw this?" she asked. Dax nodded and showed her the picture. Lily admired the detail. She noticed a small figure that looked like her next to Dax. She felt touched and proud. "That is beautiful," Lily said. "Where did you learn to draw like that?" Dax shrugged. "I just practice," he replied. Lily offered her arm. "Shall we go to art class together?" Dax gripped her arm and they walked down bright hallways. In art class, children sat at tables with paints and clay. Dax claimed a seat by the window. Lily sat beside him and helped him open paint tubes. As Dax painted the drawing of two figures, other children watched. Some showed interest, others whispered. A girl named Mia peeked at Dax's work. She looked at Lily. "That is amazing," Mia said. Lily smiled at Dax. He looked surprised. Mia copied his line work and added colors. Soon, other children joined in, and the table filled with drawings of friends under stars. Lily left Dax to paint and went to her desk to talk with the director. She handed forms and a kind note about Dax's progress. She requested an extension for adoption evaluation. The director frowned at paperwork but saw Lily's calm confidence. "This boy means a lot to you," the director said. Lily nodded. "Yes, he is lonely. I want him to have a home." Director smiled and signed the paper. Lily thanked her and returned to Dax. She brought him a plate of fresh fruit and warm pudding. Dax ate slowly, praising the taste. After art, Lily led Dax to a quiet green courtyard. They sat on a bench near blooming vines. Dax opened his sketchbook. Lily asked, "Would you like to tell me about your world?" Dax's eyes dropped. His fingers traced a drawing of a distant planet. Lily waited. "I lived on Orion Ridge," Dax said at last. "It was cold and gray. My parents grew crystals that glowed in the dark. They sold them for warmth. But then the war came." Lily listened closely. Her heart ached for Dax. She reached and held his hand. Dax squeezed her hand gently. "One night, ships came," Dax continued. "They bombed the ridge. My parents tried to hide me, but I woke alone. I walked until I found this ship. It took me here." Lily's voice was soft. "That had to be terrifying." Dax nodded and looked at the sky. Here the sun looked small. "I miss the cold too," Lily thought. "Perhaps we could make a small frost area in your room. Would you like that?" Dax's eyes widened. "That would be wonderful." Later, Lily helped Dax pack his room with soft blankets and brought a small portable cooler. They set it up together. "So, Dax, Could touch cold air without the frost burning him. At midday, a counselor visited. They talked about Dax's behavior and progress. The counselor praised Lily and Dax for their bond. Lily felt relief. She whispered a quiet thanks. When the counselor left, Dax said, I have a question. Lily looked at him. Why do people call me ugly? Lily's heart tightened. She hugged him gently. No one should say that, she said. Your skin is special and beautiful. Your eyes are unique. They make you who you are. Dax pressed his face to her shoulder. Lily held him until he nodded. Thank you, Dax whispered. In the afternoon, Lily took Dax to a small library. Shelves held books on art, history, and world cultures. Dax pulled out a book with bright pictures of alien worlds. He opened it and pointed to a page. This is my home, he said. The crystals looked like plants in the picture. Lily read the text aloud slowly. They learned together. Dax smiled as he saw familiar names of his city and the colors of his sky. When evening came, Lily walked Dax back to her home. They ate dinner with her friends Ben and Amy. Ben served warm soup and Amy offered stories of her family. Dax watched them and tried a spoonful. He smiled at the flavor. Amy winked and offered more. Soon all spoke and laughed. Dax laughed too. Sound light and free. After dinner, Lily tucked Dax into a soft bed lined with his drawings. The portable cooler hummed softly. Dax hugged a pillow and looked at Lily. I feel safe here, he said. Lily kissed his forehead. And you will always be safe, she said. Dax single quotes S eyes closed. Lily watched until his breathing evened. She whispered to the stars visible through the window, Thank you for bringing Dax to me. Lily turned off the light. The room glowed with gentle crystals she had placed. Dax dreamt of his home world, but now he had hope here. Lily woke early and packed a small bag for the day. Today was evaluation day with the adoption board. She smiled at Dax, who still lay asleep on the soft bed. The portable cooler hummed gently at the foot of the bed, breathing cold air into his. Crystal blanket. Dax stirred and opened his eyes. He saw Lily and yawned. His voice was husky. Are you ready? Lily nodded. Yes, I will be with you. Always. Dax climbed down and dressed in simple clothes Lily chose, a soft shirt and loose pants. He looked at his reflection in the mirror. His rough skin caught the sunlight, making faint patterns like stars. He touched a pattern and whispered, Maybe today people will see beauty, not fear. Lily smiled and took his hand. They walked to the orphanage in the soft morning light. The hallways were quiet. Children still slept. A few staff passed, greeting Lily with nods. At the director's office, Lily and Dax waited. The director held a clipboard. Two other board members sat behind a long desk. One was a judge with red robes and stern eyes. The other was a social worker with kind eyes and a gentle smile. Director greeted them. Thank you for coming. Today we review your request to adopt Dax. Are you both ready? Lily nodded and squeezed Dax's hand. Dax swallowed as he looked at the judge. I will answer questions, he said. Judge cleared her throat. Dax, tell us why you want to live with Lily. Instead of remaining here. Dax took a breath and spoke softly. I felt alone before. Here, Lily helped me see hope. She listens and cares. With her, I feel safe and happy. Social worker nodded. You speak well, Dax. What are your dreams for the future? Dax thought. I dream of making crystal gardens like on Orion Ridge. I want to help people feel hope when they see light in darkness. Judge raised an eyebrow. You speak of crystals. How do they help? Dax looked at Lily and then back. Crystals grow and glow. They show that even in rough times, beauty can bloom. They remind me that hope can grow from pain. Lily felt tears in her eyes. The board members whispered. Judge nodded slowly. Your words are wise, Dax. Director spoke to Lily. Lily, what makes you fit to be his mother? Lily stood tall. I have worked with many children. Dax faced fear and loneliness. I fought for him to have a home. I will love and protect him. I will learn his culture and help him grow strong. Social worker smiled. I see your bond. It is rare and true. Judge leaned forward. We must consider community concerns. Some worry about cultural challenges. How will you help Dax adapt? Lily nodded. We'll teach him about this world and show others his gifts. We will help neighbors understand his culture through art and stories. Judge looked at Dax. You seem brave. Will you work to bridge cultures? Dax nodded firmly. I will share my art. I will teach others about Orion Ridge crystals. Together we will build understanding. Judge and board members whispered again. After a moment, Judge spoke. We see that Lily and Dax have a strong bond. We approve this adoption. Congratulations. Director handed Lily a document. Lily hugged Dax. Tears fell silently. Thank you, Lily said softly. Outside, children cheered. Staff smiled. Lily lifted Dax into her arms. He wrapped his arms around her neck. They walked home with warm hearts. That evening, Lily invited neighbors and friends to a gathering. She held an art show in her backyard. Lanterns hung in trees. Tables showed Dax's drawings. Crystal gardens, twin suns, figures under stars. Neighbors arrived with curious eyes. Ben and Amy helped serve fruit juice and snacks. Soft music played. Lily spoke to the group. My son Dax has a gift. His art shows hope. Please look and see his heart. People stepped forward. A woman named Carla studied a drawing of crystals. This is beautiful, she said. A young boy named Tom pointed to a painting of two figures. They look happy. Did you draw this? Dax nodded, cheeks pink. He told Tom the story of two friends lighting crystals in darkness. Us joined. They asked questions about Orion Ridge, the war, the crystals. Dax explained simply. His voice grew stronger with each word. People listened, eyes warmed. Lily watched as friendships formed. She felt hope bloom in her chest. Later, Dax and Lily walked under lanterns. The air felt cool. Dax held Lily's hand. Thank you, Mommy, he said. Lily stopped and hugged him. I am proud of you, she said. Dax smiled and leaned back. I feel like I belong. Lily knelt and looked into his eyes. You do. Here, you are loved and valued. Dax nodded, and they walked home under the silent stars. At her home, Lily tucked Dax into bed. He held a small crystal necklace she gave him. The crystal glowed faint blue. Lily kissed his forehead. Sleep well, my son. Dax closed his eyes. He dreamt of crystal gardens and stars, but now he did not feel fear. He felt hope. Lily woke early and prepared breakfast. Today was Dax's first day at the colony school. She watched as he dressed in a simple uniform. His rough skin showed under sleeves, and mismatched eyes shone with a mix of excitement and fear. Dax turned and spoke softly. Are you coming with me? Lily smiled and shook her head. I must work today, but I will pick you up later. Remember what we talked about. Be brave. Dax nodded and hugged her. Lily returned the embrace, her heart full. She left him at the front gate of the school, where a tall fence and sliding doors stood. Children milled around, chatting and trading snacks. Inside, Dax followed signs to his classroom. A teacher named Miss Reed greeted him. She had warm brown skin and a gentle voice. Welcome, Dax. We are happy to have you. Please come in. Dax stepped in. The room was bright and colorful. Posters of planets and animals lined the walls. Students turned to look at him. Some stared, others whispered. Dax's chest tightened. Ms. Reed smiled. Everyone, this is Dax. He is new. Let's show him kindness. One student, a girl named Sarah, waved. Sarah had curly hair and bright eyes. Dax gave a small wave. Class began with reading. Miss Reed read a story about a brave traveler. Dax listened, imagining himself on distant worlds. When it was time for group work, Miss Reed paired students. She looked at Dax. Dax, please join Sarah and Ben at the first table. Ben was a boy with golden hair and freckled cheeks. He smiled at Dax. Hi, I'm Ben. Want to build a model of the solar system? Dax nodded. He placed his sketchbook next to him and began to shape clay spheres. Sarah mixed colors. Soon they worked together, creating small planets. Other groups watched, and some began to chatter. Look at his shapes. One boy whispered. Another boy laughed. Dax heard but kept working. Sarah and Ben offered him clay. He formed a moon and painted patterns. Miss Reed came by and praised their work. Great teamwork, she said. Lunch arrived. Children lined up at a counter. Dax held a tray and looked uncertain. Sarah guided him. I like the soup. Try it, she said. Dax scooped soup and brought it to the table. He tasted it and smiled. Others at the table offered him fruit and bread. He joined their conversation, talking about crystals and art. A child named Jill asked, "What are crystals?" Dax took a breath. They grow on my home. They glow in dark. They give warmth and hope. Jill's eyes widened. That's amazing. Dax felt a warmth inside. In afternoon, Miss Reed announced an art contest. Children would paint a scene of hope. Dax's eyes lit up. He took paper and paints. He painted a crystal garden under twin suns with children of many shapes holding hands. When the time ended, Miss Reed collected the art. She showed a few pieces on the board. Dax's painting glowed with bright colors. Children gasped and clapped. Your painting shows hope, Miss Reed said. Dax looked at classmates. Sarah smiled and clapped. Ben gave him a thumbs up. Children gathered, asking for stories of Orion Ridge. After school, Lily arrived at the gate. Dax ran to her and hugged her leg. It was good, Lily. They liked me. Lily smiled. I knew they would. Want to tell me about your day on the way home? Dax nodded and took her hand. On the ride home, Dax spoke excitedly of friends and art. Lily listened and smiled at him. She felt pride in his voice. At home, Lily had an idea. She brought out a small metal box. Inside were smooth crystals of pale blue and green. She handed one to Dax. This crystal is yours, she said. You can hold it when you need hope. Dax held the crystal, feeling its weight and glow. He smiled and pressed it to his chest. Thank you, Lily. Lily sat and guided him. Let's plant seeds in our backyard. Then we can watch them grow like crystal gardens. Dax rubbed his hands together. That sounds perfect. They spent evening planting small seedlings. Lily showed Dax how to water gently. Dax dug holes and covered seeds with soil. He whispered wishes. Under his breath. As night fell, they cleaned up and sat under the stars. Dax held the crystal necklace she made for him. It glowed softly in the dark. Lily spoke softly. Everything you plant will grow with hope. Just like you. Dax looked at the sky. I am not ugly, Lily. I am full of light. Lily wrapped her arm around him. You are perfect, my son. They sat together until the cool wind whispered through leaves. Dax felt peace and belonging. He held Lily's hand and watched the stars shine. In the morning, the seedlings would break soil. Dax would return to school. He would carry hope in his heart and the crystal in his hand. He would know he belonged. They stayed under stars, mother and son, finding promise in each other. The next morning, Dax woke to a soft glow in the backyard. Tiny green sprouts broke through the soil where he and Lily had planted seeds. The pale blue crystal she gave him hung around his neck, glowing faintly. He smiled and slipped downstairs, where Lily waited with warm fruit and tea. Lily pointed to the garden. Look, she said, they grew. Dax ran outside in bare feet. He knelt and touched a seedling. Its leaves were soft and bright. He closed his eyes and whispered, I hope you grow strong. Lily watched him. She felt her chest fill with pride. Dax had brought hope to so many. Now he nurtured life itself. After breakfast, Lily helped Dax get ready for school. He carried a small watering can. He paused and turned to Lily. I want to share our garden with my classmates. Lily nodded. That sounds wonderful. Let them see. Dax walked to school with his watering can and crystal. At the gate, he saw his friends. Sarah waved and Ben jogged to him. We heard about the garden, Sarah said. Dax smiled. Would you like to see it? Ben nodded. Let's go now. But school began soon. Dax said, maybe after classes. In class, Miss Reed spoke about community projects. She asked for volunteers to join a garden event. Most hands shot up. Dax raised his hand too. Miss Reed nodded. This week, we will plant a larger garden at the community center. Anyone interested? Dax felt his heart beat fast. When Miss Reed called his name, he stood. I'd like to help, he said. After school, a group gathered at the community center. Neighbors, children, and staff arrived with tools and seeds. Lily followed with a cart of crystal therapy plants that Dax and she chose together. Community leader, Mrs. Carla, greeted them. Welcome, everyone, Today we create hope here. Please follow Dax and Lily to the planting area. Dax felt a mix of fear and excitement. He led the group to a patch of bare earth. He pointed and spoke, "We plant these seeds now. Later, we will hang crystals on the vines. They will glow at night, reminding us hope grows in dark." Neighbors watched. Some touched their own crystals. The children dug holes and placed seeds. Dax moved through the rows, guiding hands and sharing stories of Orion Ridge crystals. As dusk fell, they finished planting. Small poles stood with seedlings and crystals. The garden looked like stars fallen to earth. People stepped back, eyes shining. Mrs. Carla spoke, "That's beautiful. Dax, you have given us hope." Dax felt tears. He smiled, "Thank you." A week passed. The seedlings grew taller each day. The crystals glowed brighter at night. The garden became a meeting spot for families. People brought chairs and blankets. Children chased fireflies among glowing leaves. One evening, a messenger arrived. He held a letter from Orion Ridge Relief. They requested Dax's help to care for children displaced by war. Dax read the letter to Lily by candlelight. They need healing crystals and art therapy. Lily placed a hand on his shoulder. You can help them. Dax's eyes glowed. Let's prepare. Supplies. He gathered art sets, clay, and crystal tools. Lily packed them into a small transport pod. Dax and Lily boarded with supplies and his crystal necklace. They arrived at a relief camp on another world. Children with sad eyes sat under tents. They stared at Dax. He knelt and showed his crystal. These help me. Would you like to learn? A girl named Noah stood and stepped forward. She reached for a crystal shard. Dax taught her to hold it gently and place it over a small wound. He guided her hand. The crystal glowed as it healed the cut. Tears filled Noah's eyes. It works, she whispered. Dax smiled and laughed. The other children crowded around. I will show you art too, Dax said. They sat in circles and painted planets, stars, and figures holding crystals. Laughter and chatter filled the camp. The air felt light and joyful. When the session ended, the camp leader approached. Your gift is rare, he said. Thank you for bringing hope. Dax looked at Lily. She smiled back. He felt pride and warmth. On the ride home, Dax rested his head on Lily's shoulder. The crystal on his chest glowed softly. Thank you for helping me share hope, he said. Lily kissed his hair. I'm proud of you, my son. Back at home, they returned to their glowing garden. Dax felt peace. He had found purpose and love. That night, Lily told Dax a bedtime tale of a crystal phoenix rising from ashes. Dax listened with bright eyes. As his eyelids closed, Dax whispered, I will always share hope. His voice grew soft. The crystal on his necklace pulsed with gentle light. Lily turned off the lamp and watched him sleep. Outside, crystals on vines glowed like stars. Dax dreamed of new worlds and kind faces. He slept with hope in his heart, knowing he belonged and had a purpose to share light in darkness. Dawn arrived in soft purple light. Dax woke and stretched under his blanket. He felt the cool pulse of his crystal necklace. He sat and watched the garden glow in morning dew. Lily knocked and entered with 2 mugs of warm tea. Good morning, my son, she said. The garden looks beautiful. Dax smiled and touched a leaf. It shimmered under his fingers. Good morning, Mommy, he replied. I had a dream of crystal birds. Lily poured tea and set a mug beside him. Do you want to tell me about it? Dax nodded and spoke softly. In my dream, birds made of crystal rose from the garden. They flew across stars. They guided people lost in darkness. Lily single quotes S. Eyes warmed. That sounds like hope taking flight. Dax sipped tea and looked at Lily. I think my journey is just beginning. Later, they walked through the garden to the colony meeting hall. Today, Dax would present a story to the council about hope and unity. Lily walked beside him, holding his hand. Inside the hall, neighbors and leaders took their seats. Symbols of many worlds lined the walls. At the front sat the council, a judge, a teacher, a leader from each colony district. They turned as Dax and Lily entered. Council leader rose. Dax, we welcome your story. Please speak. Dax stepped forward. He held a small crystal in his palm. He looked at the crowd, breathing steadily. My story began on a world called Orion Ridge. It was cold and gray. My parents grew crystals that glowed in darkness. Those crystals gave warmth and safety. But war came. It burned our homes. I lost my family and my world. He paused and looked at Lily. Then Lily came. She saw me hiding in fear. She held my hand and helped me trust again. She gave me art supplies and a home. She listened to my dreams. The crowd watched in silence. Dax's voice grew stronger. Together, we planted seeds and crystals in a garden. The seedlings grew and crystals glowed like stars. In school, I shared art and crystal stories. Neighbors came, asked questions, and learned. We built hope together. Dax held up the crystal. This crystal healed wounds and lit dark paths. It reminds us that beauty can bloom from pain. Hope grows when we care for each other. Dax set the crystal on the council table. Light from the window struck it, sending patterns on the floor. A hush fell. Then the judge stood. Your story moves us, Dax. You show the power of kindness and unity. Other council members nodded. The leader spoke. You have our thanks. Let us plant this crystal as a symbol at the city center. Dax felt his heart soar. He smiled at Lily, who wiped a tear. Outside, they followed the council to the city plaza. A stone pedestal waited. Dax placed the crystal and spoke. May this crystal remind us to care for each other, to grow hope in dark times. Council leader placed a hand on Dax's shoulder. You have our blessing. Young one. Dax felt pride in belonging as neighbors and leaders bowed. That night, Lily and Dax returned home. The pedestal glowed faintly in the plaza. Dax watched the light from their window. He felt calm. In bed, Dax said, Thank you for everything. Lily kissed his cheek. I will always be here, he said. Before sleep, Dax reached under his pillow. He brought out a small pot of crystal seeds from Orion Ridge. He held them and closed his eyes. One day, he would plant these seeds under twin suns and share hope across stars. Lily watched him drift to sleep. She whispered to the night. May his light shine far and wide. Weeks later, Dax received messages from Orion Ridge survivors. They sent data about new crystal growth. Dax shared the news at community events. People cheered. In the months that followed, Dax led art and crystal therapy sessions. He traveled between colonies, teaching and healing. He sent supplies back to orphan children across worlds. One day, he visited Orion Ridge. The war had ended. Survivors rebuilt. Children played among crystal forests. Dax knelt and planted seeds from the pod. The soil drank the crystals and sprouted. Faint buds. A girl approached him. I remember your art, Dax. You brought hope here, Dax nodded. My mother taught me that hope grows where hearts care. The girl smiled and held a seed. She whispered a wish as she planted it. Lily watched from a distance. Pride shining in her eyes. Dax turned and waved at her. She waved back. Under twin suns, crystal gardens grew. Hope spread across worlds. Lily and Dax walked hand in hand, their journey of healing and love lighting the cosmos. And so, the alien boy once labeled ugly became a beacon of hope, showing that love and kindness can transform darkness into light.